We always say we're going to get a chinchilla and name it Chilla.
I can bring him up if you
Chilla
want.
Chichilla.
He's so soft, and I should just bring him up and let him run around. Do you guys want me to bring him up?
You want to?
I mean, whatever.
Yeah, I'll bring him up. He can add to the podcast vibe. A chinchilla for a chinchilla. Or what?
Chichilla. No N.
Chichilla.
Is he going to eat our cords? No. Whatever. We're
He's
recording.
he's really
so.
sweet.
No. I'm glad we got that on the recording. Rach.
You cut out my burp earlier.
Yeah, of course I cut out your burp.
But I thought it was such a good burp.
I love you. What do you mean do our thing? We have to fucking introduce her. Get your ass back here, psycho.
I was going to go get Chewy.
Oh my God. I love her so much.
She's like a 2-year-old in traffic.
Oh my God. That's such a good description, Carla. All right. Well, you guys, it's 2 mystic mamas, but it's 2 different mamas this time. So sorry, Rach. You're out. What happened, Rach?
Where is he?
Well, I've never got him out of his cage.
And you decided
So today was the day?
This is it?
I thought he would just come. Yeah, I mean, he was being good, but you have to get him.
Yes, you have to touch him to get him.
No. I can touch him, but you have to grab him, and I don't feel comfortable grabbing him. Anyways,
She thought she was fucking Snow White for a minute.
I did. I was not successful.
Oh my God.
Right.
Well, as you guys have ascertained, probably because we're definitely keeping in some of the stuff we've already said, we have a guest with us today.
Yes.
And this is super exciting. I met this amazing woman at the Three Rivers Psychic Fair that I went to. My husband and I were there. She had a table set up with a friend of hers and was like, oh my God, I want to be friends.
You guys had an instant connection.
We did have an instant connection. And as soon as we walked away, Charlie was like, oh, that's your people.
Yeah.
And I was like, I know. She was so great. And so I introduced the 2 of you, and we all have met up and had coffee. And now today we had the most incredible ritual together, and we get to podcast together.
I know. It's been in the making for at least 6 months, maybe closer to 8. And on a few other podcasts we have talked. I like how we're not using your name yet, but
no, we should actually introduce her. Welcome, everybody. This is Carla Chichilla from the Enchanted Table.
Carla, it's so good to have you here.
I'm so happy to be here finally.
Yeah, it was all in divine time, as things always shake out. So yeah, so you guys met at the Three Rivers Psychic Festival, which is a festival we attended in the fall as well. We had a table there for the podcast, and we both did oracle readings, which was great. So
the Enchanted Table does workshops centered around spells, kitchen witchery.
Correct. Mm-hmm.
You want to elaborate a little bit more on what kitchen witchery is and what it is that you do?
Sure. So I'll start with what we do at the Enchanted Table. We conduct workshops that last about 2 hours, and each one is different and crafted towards the time of year, any type of holiday and season. So just depending on when this falls, that's the type of spell that we would do. And it would coincide cooking with that as well. So we would start off, everyone surrounds the table, and I just do a quick lecture on the history of witchcraft and what it means to be a kitchen witch. And it's so fascinating to watch people who especially come in blind and have no idea what's going on, that as I'm talking, and you can physically see the light bulb go off in their head and be like, oh, wait, I do that. Oh, wait, I do that too.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, exactly, you're all doing it. The magic is in you. You just have to realize it.
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
I feel like we had this conversation when we did the episode on culinary spells where, you know, Rachel and I both cook a lot, and she was like, oh, I guess I've been doing this like inadvertently your whole life.
Mm-hmm.
Totally. And we talked about some really fun movies throughout time that center around the kitchen or center around making food that people ingest and take in, and the importance of breaking bread and what that does in bringing, humans together and that sense of community. But also when you cook with intention and you cook with energy, you put that and infuse that into the food, which is, anybody who's listening, if you've ever cooked, you can attest to this. You come home from work and you're pissed off and you had a fucked up day. Yeah, your food's probably going to get burnt.
It's not going to taste good. That's actually what I teach in the workshop.
All right, yeah.
It's definitely, if you had a bad day, your food is going to taste terrible.
Yep.
Yeah, because it's all about the energy that you're putting into the food when you're doing it. And, we do it when we bake for our loved ones, right? And we're like, oh, I'm so excited. I'm going to make this birthday cake for them. And then it's magical and it's wonderful and it tastes delicious. Even if you didn't realize that you were subconsciously putting this energy and this magic and creating a spell in what you were doing.
Well, think about it. Our grandparents, our parents, all of that gets passed down. And when you go away to school, that's why coming home to a home-cooked meal is so incredible and so vital. And you don't associate that until you're out of that element and you're away from it and you're eating out all the time, or you're eating other people's food, that is being made in mass production. I associate this back to when I went to college, when I went away from college, and I was like, oh my God, I had no clue how good I had it at home. And so, people think about cookies and baked goods that their grandparents made, that their parents made, that when they get that and they take it back with them to school, it conjures up those feelings of comfort and safety and love. And really, that's what unites all of us, is food.
And it's also high vibration. When you have those types of foods, it's very high vibration as opposed to fast food. It's dead, right? That food's dead. Cafeteria food. Those women are cooking back there. They don't care about you.
No.
I'm sorry, they don't. But so the food's dead. So
Yep.
when you get that home cooking, that food is full of life.
Yes. I love that. And it's true because we need food as humans to survive, but there is something to be said about eating food that is specifically prepared and how wonderful that is, which is also what you did for us today. We got to experience the whole Enchanted Table on a scaled down version for just Krystyn and I.
It was so great.
It was.
I'm so glad you liked it.
Loved
Loved.
it.
Yeah, it was such a cool experience. And so, Carla cooked for us. And, as a mom who is constantly cooking for her family and chosen family as well, that's constantly going through these doors, I love to be cooked for. That's like one of my favorite things, is just having someone else make a meal. So thank you for doing that.
My pleasure.
All right. Welcome to Two Mystic Mamas. So tell us, Carla, can you walk our listeners through the spell, the ritual that we did today?
Sure.
And how that coincides with the meal and all of that.
So today we did a This Garden Will Thrive spell. And that is to produce a bountiful and prosperous garden for the summer. We used concrete slabs and we did intentions into the concrete. And then we painted them with all kinds of sigils and markings that are special to each of us and that are coinciding with the elements in nature. From there, our magical ingredient was basil. And then basil was used in the food that I prepared. I prepared an herb roasted chicken over cacio de pepe with spring asparagus. And that's what we did this morning.
Delicious.
It was delicious. I love basil. And I'm so excited because this is the first time that I am learning about the magical properties of basil. Naturally, I've cooked with basil. I've had it in my garden ever since I started having a garden. But this year feels different because now I know that basil is associated with all of these elements as far as the zodiac and the planets and the element, but also the magical properties of basil, which are happiness, protection, wealth, success, and love. I can get down with all of those. They all They all, with prosperity, I guess, is the big one. Yeah.
Family fun fact, my uncle, my great uncle actually, used to take sprigs of basil and always stick it in his shirt pocket. And I don't know why he did this. I just know that he did do it. And he smelled wonderful all the time. So I don't wonder if he was doing it for money, like wealth,
Right.
or protection. I don't know, but I really haven't thought about that in years, actually.
I love that.
It just came to me. I'm like,
Yeah.
he used to do that all the time. Like he would just pluck it off, stick it in his pocket.
Yeah.
You know, those
Yeah.
old guys used to wear those shirts that had like the little
Yeah.
Was he
pocket.
Italian?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I'm 100% Italian.
I wonder,
I mean, there's
yeah.
a large amount of kitchen witchery and folklore comes from Italy.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. Okay, so I just saw a movie trailer for this movie. Is called Nana.
Ooh.
And it's based on a true story. Has Vince Vaughn is the main character, and he starts an Italian restaurant in Brooklyn, maybe somewhere in maybe the Bronx, somewhere in one of the New York suburbs, and he employs all of these Italian nanas, but they're from like all different parts of Italy. So that like one's from Sicily, one's from Florence, one's from Venice, and they're all like, ugh.
So they all have to be fighting because they're all making the same food different ways.
Right, exactly. And so the trailer's really great because you see them all come together in the kitchen, and Susan Sarandon's one of the nanas. And I was like, oh, I got to see this movie.
Mm-hmm. I definitely want to see
But that's what was
Yeah.
so great about it, was how they infused their food with love and that sense of family and that sense of community, which, again, I live for. I love that. I love entertaining when I'm in that vibe, and I can make something for everybody to enjoy, and the kids are running in and out of the house, and just that electric energy, that welcoming energy is, for me, that is something that it's a core part of who I am.
Yeah.
And how I was raised. And so food for me will always be like a common theme in my life. And I love having this take on it because I've been doing this for so long, and it dawned on me when we started talking about it, about the magic and about the energy that we put into our food. And it's really special.
Well, the other thing that I feel that is really, really important as far as kitchen witchery and the era that we're living in right now, this is the first time in the history of the entire world that we have every element at our fingertips in our kitchen.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
We have the earth would be food, your food.
Right.
Air is the scent of the food. Your fire is your stove. And water is your sink.
Right.
You've got every element. They've never had that until within 100 years.
Yeah. Modern day.
It's so easy for
And it's
anybody
mind-blowing.
to be a kitchen
Inaccessible.
witch.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
But just think of how they did it prior to 100 years ago.
Oh. And you know what? 100 years doesn't, like, it feels like a lot, but at the same time, when you think back to the fact that the 1980s or 40 years ago.
Don't remind me.
No, it is. But
And
but
you're
again,
like, okay, but also we are to what the 1980s were to the 1940s.
Yes.
Totally.
I
So
know,
it's like-
right?
it's like, wait,
it's wild.
It's wild.
It's
for
not
sure.
that far removed that
No.
women were outside cooking over fire with kettles and brewing up,
Mhm.
magic of their own.
And walking to the stream to get their water.
Right.
It wasn't like just flowing through your house.
They didn't have Berkey filters back then.
But this
They
is
didn't
why your
have- yeah.
kitchen is so magical
Yes.
because
Right.
everything is there.
So how did you get into this? Did you walk us through, like, when did you get into the kitchen and how did you start associating, like, which came first?
Did
The witch
or
or
the
the
kitchen?
kitchen?
The witch definitely came first. I mean, I've technically been a witch since high school,
Okay.
but very, very low key. I mean, it was the 90s. Well, it was the 80s, really, when I was in high school. And it wasn't that big of a thing. Like, people didn't really talk about it back then. So, but I was always very earth correct. More like I was in tune
Yes.
With
With the
the
earth.
earth.
Yeah.
and
I'm
the
tracking.
seasons. And I was brought up Catholic, but so many religious things did not make sense to me even then
Same.
that I questioned, and I was just always much more in tune. So I always considered myself a naturalist because I didn't have the verbiage at the time.
Sure.
I didn't know the words
Plus
of what
that
I
would
was.
be sinning.
Right. Yeah, that too.
We don't want to use
I'm
the word.
sitting at a table with a bunch of sinners.
That's right.
We're the fun time over here.
Divorced
Yeah.
Catholics over here.
Oh my God. Never a Catholic over
Oh,
here.
lucky. But yeah, so I just, in high school is really, because that's when I started to pull away from the church and stuff like that. Because I did go to Catholic school up until 8th grade.
Same.
So I started getting my own ideas finally in high school. And I really did start to think, and I would tell people, and they would look at me like I was absolutely insane, that the sun was God. So it's not that I didn't believe in God. It's just not this old man with the beard.
Mm-hmm.
It's the sun. It's the energy force. Without it, everything dies.
Mm-hmm.
To me, that just resonates like that's completely normal, and that makes perfect sense to me.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone else at the time thought I was nuts.
Did you know the moon is not a planet?
Shut your face.
The moon's not it's not a planet, it's the moon.
I know.
Right? It's
I-
not a planet.
Yes, no, wait.
It's the moon.
That was literally the words that came out of my mouth.
Like, I had to literally stop and think for a second. I'm like, what?
Yeah, well,
talking
about?
Rachel.
Episodes back, Rachel was going on about astrology and astronomy.
Yes.
And we learned and discovered that Rachel was under the assumption for all this time that the moon was a planet.
In our solar
And she
system.
went
Yeah.
real
Public
hard
education system failed you.
against me.
It's that fucking
She
Catholic
took-
education.
Really? She took an astronomy class at Pitt. I've
Stars, galaxies, and cosmos. Anyway.
I don't even know what to say about that.
First of all, they cover it in, I think, 3rd or 4th grade. But I now know that the moon is the moon.
Hey, we all learn and grow.
That's
Exactly.
what I said. But I always try to figure out if there's anybody out there like me who thought the moon is a planet.
She asked everybody if they knew the moon was not a planet. Because when this all went
So
down
far.
in real time, you should have seen my face. It was incredible.
She said, I'm going to quit this
I
podcast.
did threaten her. Don't just walk right out. But she was like, no, there's like a whole bunch of people that are listening right now that agree with me.
I haven't found them yet. But
Nope. Mm-mm.
She knows they exist out there.
I think Chelsea Handler would be in my boat because she thought the sun and the moon were the same thing.
She thought they were
That's
the same?
That's a whole different fucking boat. Rach.
What?
Yeah, she thought when the sun went down that then the moon just popped up. It wasn't until she was in Africa with her sister on safari. There's a whole comedy clip on this, so watch hers. It's way funnier. And her sister was like, look, Chelsea, it's not every day that you get to see the sun and the moon at the same time. And she was like, she said she looked like Scooby-Doo, where she was like, what? And she looked up and she's like, how are they together? And her sister was like, what? And she's like, shut up, shut up, shut up. And then she's like, yeah, I thought that when the sun went down, the moon popped up and it was the same. They just changed like a cartoon.
Now we really know what the dark side of the moon was.
I'm literally speechless. Like, I don't even know what to say to that.
Well, it just goes to show you that you don't need to know all of these stupid facts to be successful in life. Okay? You can just learn them in your 40s.
I feel like success can be gauged a lot of ways.
That's what I mean.
Knowing that the sun and the moon aren't the same thing could be considered successful.
I don't know. None of us are professors at Pitt teaching stars.
Your professor
Scars.
fucking sucked, Rachel.
First of all, it wasn't even a professor. It was a fucking TA. Moving on. Let's get back to why we're here. I'm sorry I took us down that rabbit hole. I just love to know if anybody else is in my cycle, my moon cycle. Okay, back to you. So, you were a witch first. How'd you get into the kitchen?
Yeah. So anyhow, so going back. So then as I just grew, I got really into it in my 20s, like super into it. And I really started actually cultivating some, I don't want to say psychic abilities, but a lot of like clairvoyant abilities and clairconscience abilities to the point where it was getting a little out of control. My dead grandmother was coming to me, physically touching my arm, like things were like getting real crazy. So it was my 20s were wild. I was real into it. And then in my 30s, I know what happened. I started dating someone that
Diminished.
stole a lot of that energy from me
Mm-hmm.
and moved my attention away from it. And it was a slow, over time, but it did it. It took all of my 30s and getting away and then meeting my husband. And once I met my husband, everything literally completely flooded back. It was like he opened this door for me mentally, physically, emotionally to come back. And that's when I got in the kitchen. Was for him.
Okay.
I really never actually cooked before for even my ex. Like, I just wasn't interested. But the moment that we met, I knew this is who I want to pour my love into. And that's where that started. And it's literally just snowballed from there.
I love that so much for you. It's so interesting how you can bring back pieces of yourself that have been stowed away or shattered or forgotten about, right? And while I did have a slightly different path, I felt 100% the same, that for a long time I had abandoned my gifts. I had abandoned my craft because it wasn't supported, right? When Charlie and I got together, I was just like, all of it came flooding back. And I was like, oh my gosh, like I missed this version of myself.
Yeah. And it happens so slowly that you don't realize it's even happening.
Right.
Until 10 years later and you're like, what just happened?
Yeah, that's incredible. I love that.
And now I'm back to being flooded with all kinds of spiritual and metaphysical information download constantly. So I've really gotten it back, and it's really exciting.
Was your grandmother here with us?
No. I sent her away years ago.
Oh, years ago. Okay.
Out of here, Granny.
I said, you're starting to really scare me. It's time to move on.
Yeah.
She did.
Yeah.
I mean, we both feel stuff. You know, I similarly started this journey at a very young age. While my father was Catholic, my mother was Wiccan. And so I started this journey of discovery into witchcraft as early as I can remember, honestly. And it is crazy when you allow yourself to be open to it, what you can see and feel. Because there was a huge chunk of my life where I could be anywhere and without trying, see every aura that existed around somebody that I was around.
That's wild.
Yeah.
I've never seen auras.
And I can get it back now, but I definitely have to work for it. Like, have to get myself in a space. I have to do a meditation. Occasionally it'll pop up, but the energy has to be really strong.
So I have a fun story. I don't know if you talk to spirit guides. I do. And my main spirit guide's name is Calypso. And through months of talking and signs, his symbol is the dragonfly.
Okay.
So whenever I see dragonflies, I know he's around. And I had a session with my girlfriend that I had told you guys about when we had coffee, that she does all the energy work. I had a session with her, and she told me that I had another spirit guide, and his name was Everett, and he is my spirit guide for joy. And I was going on vacation to Ocean City.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
And I was like, all right, Everett, let's go. We're going to have so much fun, and this is going to be great. And when I was on the beach, I was talking to him out into the ocean, and I'm like, whenever you're ready, give me the symbol that's you, so that I know when you're around. You pick it, you let me know. The next day, my husband and I went to get massages, because we always get massages in Ocean City. And we're walking through the parking lot, and there was a car, and it had a decal of a dragonfly, which caught my eye first. And I was like, oh. And then I looked, and then there was a decal of the Cheshire Cat.
Oh.
For joy.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my God. Like, that's
incredible.
It. Right? Well, it's very funny because I start freaking out, of course. And my husband is so into everything. He supports everything all my crazy. Yeah. So anytime I see a Cheshire Cat, I know he's around.
I'm going to blow your mind for a hot second, Rachel.
Okay.
Calypso is also the name of a moon of Saturn.
I thought you were going to say it was your spirit guide's name.
That was another point of contention that I was like, so you're telling me that every planet potentially has moons and they're just all called the moon? They don't have unique names?
Hey, let's take out the word potentially, because it's fact.
I know, but I was like, how can they all have the same name?
They don't.
Yeah, and they have several moons. A lot of the planets have more than one moon.
That's what Krystyn told me. Yeah. Krystyn basically is my science teacher now.
I love that.
I just refer to Krystyn. So what's been
she
happening?
Doesn't actually. She just Googles it. She is disbelieving of what I say, and then she Googles it, and she's like, all right,
I
fine.
do question Professor Krystyn, but that's what all good students do. They have to question their teachers. So what's been happening to me today is I keep catching glimpses out of the corner of my eye of
Shadows.
spirits.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I get that all the time.
Yeah. It's been really prevalent, though, today since you've been in here.
It's me. I'm the problem. It's me.
Calm down, Taylor.
Carla? Yeah, but I'll be talking and I'm like,
Because I probably brought a ton of people with me.
okay, well, you brought the party.
I did. I always do.
I mean, it's good, though. It's good. When we were doing the intention setting on the concrete and you were like, while you're setting your intentions, like really feel the energy just flowing. It was very strong.
Yeah. I mean, I could feel it. That's why I was hoping you could
very
too.
strong. So then I was thinking, is this me or is it like the three of us at this table doing this at the same time that are like
Possible too.
all pretty strong in their own regard, right? So
I had very strong visuals in my mind's eye when we were doing that as well. And I could very clearly see my family in my own yard and my own garden.
Perfect.
yes.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yep. Same.
It's so great. What you do is incredible.
Oh, thank you.
I love that you are bringing this to the masses. I mean, for how long have witches been hidden away,
Mm-hmm.
right? And ridiculed. And, obviously we know the history of, the tragic history of witches and medicine women in this country.
And I think it has such a negative connotation. The word witch, when you say it, right, because of how we've grown up, is associated with all negative. It's not something that's associated with positive.
And it should be.
And it should be.
Right.
That's why I think we need to just like really educate people and help people get comfortable because the first time we met and you said, "Are you a witch?" I was like, no, definitely not. Like, I'm definitely not a witch. What are you talking about? Like, are you kidding me? And again, that was that immediate shame coming up for me, again, growing up Catholic, like my gifts were always diminished because no one could support me that was in my inner circle in a way that was warm and comforting and understanding. It wasn't understood, and it definitely was shunned, because these are gifts from the divine.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, no, you're dabbling with some.
Meanwhile, that's all that Catholicism is witchcraft.
Listen,
Well,
I'm sorry, but it is.
We can go down that path too. That's like a whole other podcast episode right there. It's just
I have a
religions in
very,
general.
very vivid memory being 11 years old, and my best friend growing up was Catholic. And I had set myself on a path of self-discovery, right? I was learning this and learning that. And I wanted to go, because my dad, while he was Catholic, he wasn't a practicing, go to church every Sunday Catholic. And so I was like, I want to go to church with you. Like, I want to see what this is about. And I had a pentagram necklace on. And I will never forget the priest standing up there and looking me dead in the eyes and go in his sermon being like, throw the witches in the fiery furnace and listen to them wail.
Ooh.
It has stuck in my head.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I've never forgotten that moment.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, this is not for me. This is okay. I'm just
These
gonna
are not my people.
see myself right out the fucking door.
Mm-hmm.
That's how people are treated that are, might call themselves a witch or practice some form of witchcraft or anything that is an alternative belief system to that mainstream, right?
So what would your definition be? Like your own personal definition of what a witch is? Because it doesn't also have to be a woman.
No, it does not.
We
No.
just always associate it to women because we are the caregivers. We're the ones that are always looking out for others. And
well, in some beliefs, practicing witches that are men are called warlocks.
or shamans, right?
I think that's more about shamanic healing. That's like a whole different practice.
Yeah, I think that's like a religion, isn't it?
Yeah. But in terms of actual witchcraft, there are men that consider themselves warlocks. I've never been a part of a coven, a ton of knowledge on that. But I do know that there are people that will refer to themselves that way.
And a coven is just a group of witches?
Correct.
There's that
like
show.
a congregation.
Yeah, there's that show that I watched that was fascinating. The Discovery of Witches. I think I told you about it.
I mean, personally, I think it's just finding the magic in the mundane, right? Like your everyday life is going to happen no matter what. You're going to cook, you're going to clean, you're going to do errands, but what can make it special? And it can be throwing in some Florida water in your cleaning solution, or I always put a clear quartz crystal in there just to make it a little more fun, a little more magical, little extra razzle dazzle.
Oh, let's bring it back because
water.
I put this in the Two Mystic Misters episode. I made a game for them and it was called Spiritual or Spirit.
Yes.
And they had to decide if it was like a liquor-based cocktail drink or if it was something that was a spiritual practice.
That's fun.
And Florida water was one of the things.
Okay, well, I don't know what Florida water is.
So Florida water was a cologne in the 1920s, 1930s, and it's orange scented and like citrus scented. It smells really, it's actually was in that spray that I sprayed you guys with.
Yes.
It's in there.
Okay.
So you get the smell of
yes.
It was then transferred into hoodoo practice, and they would use it for cleansing rituals.
So you can make Florida water.
You can make it or you can buy it. There is a specific brand that you can buy. But you can make it yourself with, it's like vodka, moon water, essential oils. Am I saying the same thing?
Yes, it's so funny. But
there's so many stories within stories that we're constantly doing this. But like,
Carla and I are over here like vibing.
Because I was saying how you can make different sprays with essential oils, and vodka is the base.
Yes.
And Krystyn was like, don't send your kids to school with vodka, Rachel.
This was literally an episode about sending your kids and preparing them for the school year. And she's like, yeah, just send them with some fucking Tito's. It'll be fine. Like, don't
I never
do that,
said that.
Don't do it, guys.
I said you had to infuse it with essential, and you were like,
a different base.
Yeah, pick Florida water as your base for kids.
Yes.
And I was like, I'm standing by what I said. Kids are going to school.
Smelling like vodka.
Vodka and all.
Open up.
I call it Sold to Tito's.
Sold to Tito's.
Here comes CYS.
Sold to Tito's. You be happy you have a son. Because these girls and their skincare and their product.
That's what I hear. Mm-hmm.
Ugh.
Sold de Janeiro.
I need to fucking buy stock in
Every
Ulta
cent.
and what's the other one? Sephora. Because I spend way too much money there now.
So what do you think what's your definition of a witch?
Oh, I would agree. You really hit the nail on the head with finding the magic in the mundane. If anybody out there has watched Practical Magic, I love the moment when they bring all the women around from the community that were forever, witch, right? Naysaying. And they're showing up with vacuum cleaners and dustbusters to sweep away the evil spirits. You can literally infuse magic into anything that you're doing. Mm-hmm. And I think that is what's most important, is that it's the connection to nature. It's the connection to what is happening presently, but also being able to tap into understanding that the consciousness of your ancestors is coming forth in the work that we're doing to propel us forward. And call it witchcraft or call it whatever you want. It is powerful and it is rising up right now. And it is part of the divine feminine. If we go back to the female archetypes, that you look back, the people that were healing their communities were women. They were medicine women. And then they were persecuted for it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, in that same vein, especially with ancestral work, going back to when I got in the kitchen, my mother had given me a picture of my grandmother at her dining room table, and she had a crocheted tablecloth. I mean, it was old, so it was time for it to go. So she cut up pieces of it and framed it with that picture and gave it to all of the girls in my family. And I took that picture and put it in my kitchen. And once I did that, I could literally cook anything. And like I told you, I was not a cook before. And if I'm doing something, cooking something, baking something that I don't know what I'm doing, I literally turn in, because I have them up on a shelf. and talk to them. And I'm not lying when I say everything turns out right.
Yeah.
Always.
Yeah.
Well,
Always.
I love that.
And I mean, to throw it back to what you were talking about with the Italian women, like this transcends every culture.
Oh my
You
gosh.
know, we see it in
Yes.
South American cultures all of the time. Like you can tap into those ancestral roots and create magic in your present day life at any point.
Yep.
I love it. All right, so tell me, what are some of your favorite recipes and spells that you do on the regular, or like cleaning spells or rituals that you do?
Yeah, sure. I'd say one of my favorite cleaning rituals, I do this once a month. I take either Florida water or, I know this is going to sound crazy, but Fabuloso. Do you guys-
Oh yeah.
I love me
The
some
purple?
purple
Yeah.
Fabuloso
Okay.
with a couple of drops of Dawn dish soap and hot water and mix that into a bowl. And then I put my clear quartz crystal in there and I clean every doorway, window frame, opening, to every room and say like incantation. And I do that once a month. And that is really just to clean up the energy, get it moving. If there's anything stagnant, especially when you're walking through doorways constantly, if you're having a bad day or whatever, move it along. So I do that every month. I also do the cinnamon spray in the doorways every month and do an incantation for that. And one of my favorite recipes that I make is a wedding soup. The holy trinity of, carrots, celery, onions. Then it's the Italian meatballs. It's a little bit of pasta, a little pastini, and chicken breast also. It's delicious. And my family loves that meal so much.
Mm-hmm.
And that really raises everybody up when I make that.
Boost their immune system.
It does.
Yeah.
Yes.
All of those systems are connected. I think that there's a big part of being spiritual that, again, to Krystyn's point, is as a collective is rising. People are very interested in finding out more, really knowing what being spiritual is, finding that, what is your purpose in life? What are your gifts? What does your soul have to bring forth in this lifetime? And when you have some meal that can connect everybody, bring everybody together. Soup's a wonderful one too, because I also just find like soup is so like literally it's fluid, right? So it's like the movement of it is also one of those things that I think there's a lot of symbolism behind it as well. And soups for me growing up too, I was telling Krystyn and Charlie, my dad would always make soup based on what we had left over. And it always turned out good. And our friends would be like, what soup is this? And I was like, oh, it's Wonder Soup. You wonder what's in it. Like you just, like it just is, But you think about like the symbolism behind soup. Soup is brought to people who are sick, who are recovering. It's an easy meal that you can heat up and it brings nourishment and good vibes and love. And
it's alive. It's alive food.
I love that. I have to I have to use that moving forward.
Well, and we're moving into a season where more of our foods are going to be alive and fresh because we're either going to farmers markets or we're getting them from our gardens, or even what you're getting at the grocery store is a better selection, especially if you live in this part of the country, than what you're going to get in the wintertime.
It's in season for a reason.
Right. And I think the other reason that people are rising up and getting curious about their own spirituality is because they want to take their power back. And right now, people are trying to take their power back with their health. And one of the number one ways that you can do that is to get in the kitchen and cook for yourself. Put some healthy intentions into your food and know what you're putting in your body and enjoy it.
Well, that's just it. You could turn it into a game. Honestly, like whether you're cooking for yourself or if you do have a partner or children, you can take turns taking time in the kitchen. Or, I mean, honestly, like it doesn't work if there's kids around, but there's something really sexy about cooking a meal with just your partner. Like if it's just you and your partner in the house, like put some good lo-fi on, put some candles on, and cook a meal together. There's something like really sexy and sexual about just that, or sensual about that can then turn sexual. So
maybe not with the soup. Might be a little painful. Steer away from the sexy soup.
Don't do sexy soup. And also, I would recommend don't just wear an apron. Like wear your clothes.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, don't cook naked. Okay, nobody wants that. That could end poorly.
Now, I want to
Yep,
ask you, have
it
you
will.
noticed since 2020 that restaurant food tastes terrible?
150%.
I used to love going out to eat. Loved it. Loved it. Loved it.
It's terrible.
It's terrible.
Well, energy in restaurants is
That's what I'm saying. And that's
really
what I think
tough.
the
Really
problem
tough.
is.
Yes, yeah.
I've always struggled with eating out or getting fast food or anything like that because of the energy and the intention that other people are able to put into my food.
Right.
Like, no, sir. Step the fuck back.
Mhm. But it's like even good restaurants. Like I'm going above even chains. And I mean, the chains are terrible, right? I mean, they're terrible. But
Mhm.
even fancier upper scale, still not great.
Mm-hmm.
Right, but
But I don't
what's
know. Is it
their
the
main
food?
objective?
Is it the actual food product that's bad? Is it who's making it that's bad? Like
I think it's the
what's-
industry. I honestly think it's the industry.
it's just
it
not
is-
it anymore.
No, well,
is
it
all
shifted
about
so much.
The monetary gain.
Yes.
And it is so expensive and energy consuming to
Mhm.
run a restaurant
Ugh.
that I just don't think that they are even like aware of what they're putting into the food energetically
Mhm,
Yeah.
because their sole focus is on that bottom line.
mhm.
And you've got all of this overhead that you're constantly trying to make sure that you can cover and thrive and, pay your employees and like all the other things.
Well, one of the other things that I do teach in the workshop is when you're preparing food at home, the actual physical mechanism of preparing the food is what is putting the energy into the food. So, chopping,
Yes.
rolling, kneading,
Stirring.
stirring.
Windershins.
What's that?
When you stir in certain directions.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
In
I have
witchcraft.
that. Yeah. I
My-
didn't know that.
my
I didn't know that was
mom-
the word. Okay,
My
I'll have to look
mom
that up.
always said that as a child because like there's a difference between beating and stirring.
Mhm.
And when you need to meld things together and bring things together, my mom would always say, treat the food with respect because the food has feelings.
Yeah, it does. It does.
And it's true. Like even when I'm teaching my children, which we
Mhm.
do a lot of that as well in this household, is okay, slow down. Now bring it together.
Mhm.
Watch mommy. I was like, it's all in the wrist. It's
Mhm.
all in the wrist.
Fold the cheese.
I
Fold
don't
it
know
in.
how to fold the
it
cheese.
in. Fold it
Oh,
in.
do you like Schitt's Creek?
I've watched the whole thing 3
Oh
times.
my god, it's so good. That was another
started
show.
watching it with Evie this week.
Okay,
Yeah.
and is she digging it, or is she? It took me at least 3 or 4 episodes to get into it.
Oh, yeah,
I think
for
she's
sure.
going to need a little bit
'Cause,
more
like-
to get into because she likes it, but she's also
Yeah.
into Brooklyn Nine-Nine right now.
Oh yeah,
Which is,
very
like,
different.
It's very different.
Yeah, when
more
I first
slapsticky.
started watching, I wanted to punch Moira in the face.
Mhm. Yeah, the first
For,
3
like,
episodes were rough.
I was like, "What the fuck? This
So they got the
character
rhythm.
sucks." Then I fell in love with her.
I know.
That was such a good episode too.
Fold it in.
Fold it.
You say fold it in one more time.
So good.
Oh, man. It is. So, takeaways for people on how they can apply some of this today in their own homes. Some people are on the move where they are ordering in food all the time. I think a lot of people probably rely on crock pot meals too,
Mhm.
which you can still
Infuse those for sure.
For sure.
Well, I don't think that anyone should try to take on too much at one time. Like start with one thing. So if your life is so busy that you have to order out or, buy prepackaged meals just to get through, that's okay. Like don't beat yourself up, but maybe not focus on that at first. Maybe focus on a cleaning ritual or focus on a candle ritual, right? You come home from work, light a candle and relax. Like
Yes.
just start there. Just start something simple.
Make yourself a cup of tea.
and have a cup of tea
Yeah.
or even a mocktail that infuses some lime, which is very uplifting.
Yes.
Some lime and some sparkling water or something like that.
Yes.
It's just something that's going to lift you up. Just start small.
Mm-hmm.
And as you progress, I didn't just open up my kitchen one day and did all of these things. This is years and years of accumulative and learning. I mean, I didn't know any of this.
Yeah, it builds on, right? And then it just becomes habit, and then you're doing it without.
And then you just
thinking
keep
about it,
right, and you
yeah.
just keep adding on to it because,
Right.
like now, I mean, not only do I already compost for my garden, now I'm composting just in my kitchen for my kitchen. I just keep adding more things on. So just take it step by step. Do what resonates with you and forget the rest. If you don't want to deal with the food part of it right now, then don't. Get yourself a crystal. get yourself a nice candle and a nice cocktail and start there.
Get down with some cocktail witchery.
Whenever I talk about this, all my friends definitely think I do a lot. And it's also location specific too. So when we go on vacation, I'm always doing something with water. I do water spells. And I don't really consider myself like a water witch or anything like that or a sea witch, but I'm there. So why not?
Well, it's the element, right?
Right.
And
it
it's
is.
and
Absolutely.
if you've always been connected to Mother Earth, it's very
It's
much
very
part
natural.
of her.
Yes.
Yeah. And
One of my favorite things, just as a little quick tip, if you're going on vacation or you're by water, I like to take seashells, or I've found rocks that have like little divots in them, and I fill them with maple syrup and then set your intention and send that out to sea.
as a gift.
Yes,
I remember you
it's an
telling me
offering.
that because I
Yep.
was like, but why? And you were like, because it's a gift. And they also like to receive gifts.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so that's a fun one.
Bunch of diabetic fish out there, thanks to Carla.
Sorry.
I don't
Make
think there's-
Wilford Brimley proud.
Diabetes.
That's so good. Diabetes.
Diabetes.
He's
Well, oh
not
my God,
around
well, you
anymore,
know,
is he?
no.
He died from diabetes.
That's right. Oh wait, he's the one that's haunting the fish. The,
You know who else?
the spirit of Wilford
my God.
Brimley.
They're together. Him and Miss Cleo.
Oh no.
She's dead.
Yeah, I
She
know.
did die.
We recently discovered that.
In 2016. She was not very old. I don't know what her untimely passing happened to be.
I wonder if she knew it was coming.
Probably.
I wonder too. I know.
I have very dark humor.
Oh my
Sorry.
God, this is so funny.
I just I have the musical number. They had it. She had it coming in my head.
She had it coming.
So good. Now I need to know how she died.
I'm going to go with she knew. I'm just going to go with she
Now
knew.
that
I
song's in
agree.
my head. What is that from? What musical?
I had Chicago in my head.
I thought
All
it.
that jazz? It might be Chicago.
No, I think it
It's-
is
it
Chicago.
It was He Had It Coming,
Yeah.
and it was
Oh,
Chicago.
It is
Yeah,
Chicago.
yeah,
Oh, right.
because
Okay.
they kill him.
Way to ruin it for everybody, Rachel.
Spoiler alert.
Oh my God, we
case-
spoiled alert our
Spoiler alert.
we spoiled alert our lovely intern. She just started watching Star Wars, and we were talking about the Fool's Journey.
Listen, how are we to know that there's actually somebody out there that
I mean,
has not?
It is 40 years old. Like, come on.
and we were like, yeah, and then
She's
Anakin
so-
turns
she's-
into Darth Vader, and she's like, oh, he does, and I was like, oh fuck, sorry, Kira.
I know. I felt so bad, but also it was kind of a hilarious.
It was
moment.
because I was like, oh, whoops.
I mean, we
That
never
does
thought
happen.
that talking about Star Wars that there would be anyone that we would spoil it for.
Right.
Yes,
But
these guys were also born in 2003.
they're so great.
Yeah, really crazy.
Bless it all. Okay,
We love you, Kira. She
we
will be
also
editing this.
love Carla.
Oh, thanks, guys. I love you too.
And I think that the work that you're doing within our community here in Pittsburgh, I think is great. I think that more people need it. I think more people also are open to it than before. Where can people find you, connect with you, and vibe with you?
Sure. So we have a Facebook page. It's the Enchanted Table on Facebook. And then we also have Instagram, and it's the Enchanted Table PGH on Instagram.
All right.
You can send us messages. And
And you also have a website.
And I have a website, enchantedtable.com.
Yes.
I think it would be cool at some point for us to host a Two Mystic Mamas meetup for some of our listeners and collab with you.
I would love that.
something.
Yeah, that would be really fun.
Yeah.
We could have like
Yeah,
mini
who
activity
knows?
that we could do or
anything.
something like that.
Yeah. Cocktail.
I would
Also
love,
true.
love that.
All right, guys. You got our wheels spinning now. So.
I know. Like now I'm like, oh, that's a whole.
The sky's the limit with this. I mean, you can literally do anything. You can find magic in anything mundane.
Yes. Magic
Right.
in the mundane. That's merch right there. Merch.
All right, guys. Carla, thank you so much for being here and
I loved it. I had so much fun today with you guys.
it's been
infusing
such a gift.
so much love and intention into our meal and cooking for us and sharing your story and what you do.
Yes. Thank you. I
Thank you for being
echo
here.
all of that. Here's to many more.
Yep. We'll see you guys later.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.